Welcome to this YouTube channel Bhagwan Ki Baatein. Well, I'm sure if you've tuned in to our earlier episodes, you would have known by now that we talk of nothing else except God. In the ongoing series, Great Saints, we are taking up stories and episodes from the life of Sant Namdev. In the first episode, we learnt about how Sant Namdev was born, whose manifestation he was, his childhood, and then when his parents decided to get him married. Let's see what happens next. And when Nama was growing up, he had a son. For the naming of the child, on the 12th day, Life of the World himself brought the gifts. Gunai said to God, Nama has now got a son. What name shall I give him? O God, tell me. Listening to what she said, the Life of the World replied, Call him Narayan and play with him in love and joy. The Brahmins were then invited, both men and women, and then the Punya Havachan then began. It was the Life of the World who is in his love gave gifts to Nama. He gave sari and jackets to Gunai and gave the child a garment and a cap. God himself gave them and then went back to his home in heaven. Gunai said to Nama, Both of us are now aged. You are engaged in contemplation of God. Day and night you meditate. Your thoughts are always occupied with his name and form. Not for a moment do you think of yourself. You are holding the Lord of Pandari in your heart. He has persecuted you extremely. In your domestic life, we require every sort of thing. But you, my son, have become one indifferent to worldly things. What can I now do? Such was Gunai's exclamation. There are many Vaishnavas who carry on at the same time their domestic affairs and their religious life. It seems to me that your condition is quite different from theirs. In your domestic life, you have children, but you have very little food and few garments. The evil-minded laugh at you. What are we to do? At these words of his mother, he felt grieved about himself. He went to the temple and bowed prostrate before God. He said, O Shri Hari, who dwellest at Pandari, why did thou put me in this domestic life? Why have you deserted me in the sad sea of this worldly existence? Hearing Nama's piteous plea, God said to him, Who is it that is troubling you? He lovingly embraced him and wiped his eyes. Nama replied, O God, it is my mother Gunai who is troubling me, but I am continually remembering your feet. Cause the shadow of your mercy to cover me. God said to Nama, You should always remain with me. Then the illusion and the seductions of the world will never touch you. You are a portion of myself, and I am in your form. Just as salt gathered from the sea is not different from the salt water to the eyes of knowledge, and as the sun and its rays are not different from one another, so your life and my life are united. O Nama, a lamp and its light, although they are one, yet they seem different. So your love and mine are the same. You cannot separate sweetness from sugar. So your thoughts and mine are not different. O Nama, a diamond and its brilliancy, although not different, are spoken of as different. So let your heart regard your love and mine, O Nama, or only as the most precious pearl is spoken of as different from its luster. So you, God-loving Bhakt, are not different from me, O Nama. Ordinary water and the water of the Ganges are not different. So I, of dark complexion, am not different from you, O Nama. Gold and the ornaments made from it are surely not different. So your thoughts and mine are not different, O Nama. When sound proceeds from a bell, it becomes really one with the bell itself. So considering our oneness, you must destroy the thought of duality. Nama then said to God, "What is this knowledge that you're teaching me? If your name is on the tip of one's tongue, who would pay any attention to the sorrow of this worldly existence? If your form is reflected in my heart, where would there be any room for the sorrow of this worldly existence? If you are mother and father in this worldly existence, no sorrow can come upon me. You are God. I am your bhakt. I will sing your praises with my lips. I ask this blessing of love in every future birth of mine. Give that to me." You speak of supremacy, of the joy that comes from the deliverance of rebirths, but I do not agree with that. Hearing this remark of Nama, God smiled. Life of the world said to Rukmini, "Nama is desirous of seeing me in visible form. If he is taught philosophical knowledge, it does not satisfy him." Thus saying, God drew Nama to his heart. He embraced him and held him close to him. The dweller in the heaven, Vaikunt, said to Nama, "What is your manner of life at home? Tell me. Do not be ashamed to do so." Hearing this, Nama replied, "If one has your blessing, what could there be lacking? Your home is the heaven of Vaikunt. We live in a broken down hut. The 8 Siddhis are your slaves. In our home, rats live. You are clothed with divine garments. My children have no clothes to wear. You reclinest on serpent shesh in the ocean of milk, but we cannot obtain even a seat made of straw. You have platters of gold. We have leaves to eat on. You have gold and silver in your home, but our comfort is your name." Hearing this remark, Krishna laughed. Now let's turn now to Nama's wife. She experienced much trouble in her home and said to her mother-in-law, "For me you have given birth to a pure crystal, but now my garments are torn, exceedingly old. I have not enough to eat. I have therefore come to your house to live my poverty-stricken life. He whom I serve with devotion has been persecuting me. I see no way of bettering our domestic state." As Nama's wife was in great trouble in her own home, Lord of Pandari, helper of the helpless, had mercy on her. Without Nama knowing it, God became a merchant by the name Keshav. This was because of his great love for his bhakt. In their distress, he at once came to their life. He filled a bag with gold coins, and he said to his eagle, "Take the form of an ox and come to the house of Nama." He took the bag of money along with him, and on his way he said to people, "Will someone tell me the way to Nama's house?" Hearing this question, the townspeople laughed. They said, "There is no food to eat at Nama's house. Who can this guest be that has arrived?" They added, "Do you see yonder tulsi altar with many tulsi plants around it? Many bright banners adorn the altar. This is Nama's house." Krishna said to Rajai, "Some guests have come to your house. Come outside at once and give them a place to sit down." Hearing these remarks, Rajai was perplexed. Where could a guest come from? I do not know who this is, whose coming will humiliate me. She therefore attempted to send him away and said to him, "The master of the house is not here. Therefore I wish you to go back." To the neighbors who assembled, she said, "These guests have nearly taken my life. What am I to do? Just listen to the strange things that are happening. Innumerable sadhus have come into my house. They carry cymbals and vinas to dance in their love. They put aside all thoughts of shame and public praise. They put aside all thoughts of caste difference. They hold the chief of Yadavas in their heart and dance in their delight. The master of my house has told me that I must feed every saint that comes to the house. Now I have not the least bit of food in the house, but he does not know this." Sri Hari was standing at the door listening to that conversation. he said to Rajai, "Come outside quickly." For the people who don't know who Rajai is, she was Nama's wife. "Come outside quickly." She asked from behind the door, "Where are you from? Who are you? And tell me your name." Hearing her question, the Lord of the world replied, "My name is Keshav. I love Nama dearly, and I have come to visit him. I have heard the news that you got no food in your house. Nama is a friend of mine, and therefore I have brought him some gold coins." Hearing this answer of his, Rajai came outside in order to bring and give him a seat. Seeing that she spoke harshly to him and then spoke with reverence, amused the Lord of the world, and smilingly he remarked, "You saw the money I have brought, and now you speak very friendly. Therefore one should not ever go anywhere empty-handed. One should never go to a marriage without carrying a wedding gift. One should never go to see the king without money in his hand. One should never go to visit one's daughter or sister empty-handed. So during the time of distress, one should not go to visit at the house of a relative or an evil-minded person. One should never visit sacred places at festivals empty-handed. One should not go empty-handed when going to a temple to worship God. When going to see and pay worship to a sadhu or guru, you should at least take a tulsi leaf. As Sudama, with great reverence, gave me a handful of parched rice. Everybody is selfish, and I pay them as they desire. Nama alone worships me without selfish desire." So God said to Rajai, "Do not do anything now to trouble Nama. I have brought a bag full of money. Store it in your house, and when it all is spent, call on me for more. Give Nama my kind regards, and tell him that this friend had called." Nama's wife, having heard this, said to Vithoba, to Krishna, "Do not be angry with me, because I spoke harshly to you. I did not know that you were a friend of the master of the house. Eat, therefore, and then go on your way." The Lord of the heaven replied, "I will not eat without the presence of Nama." So saying, Vithoba hastened to go away. He came to Rukmani and told her all the news. I think with that interesting episode, the miracle that happened when Lord himself came to Nama's house and calmed down his wife Rajai, how she was troubling him. Let's see what will happen next. But I'm sure we're going to discuss that in the next episode. So for this episode, we'll keep it to this. Until we connect again, goodbye, good luck, and Sadar Pranam.